Changes could be coming.
All I can do is wait and see what he does, and that will inform what I do.
I think she's getting a little nervous. And I think I have a little bit of proof. Understandably why? Because you know what? Donald Trump has all the support of the people, and Elon Musk could be moving in on ABC.
And what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's presidential transition is getting a thumbs up, and dare I say, 2 thumbs up from the American people.
2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up, you guys. And Elon is taking on a bigger and bigger presence over on, I nearly said MSNBC. I was going to say X. But there are some rumblings. It may not just be MSNBC that he could be interested in, but ABC as well. Look, they don't like it, even on CNN.
Platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated.
No, he's not someone who likes to be regulated. And he also is somebody who doesn't like when you have the federal government clamping down on speech. I don't think any of us like that. And that's exactly what we dealt with for years. Deep state preventing people like me, Trish Regan, from being out here saying what I believe and what I think. So Elon didn't like it. He bought X for $42 billion. Thank you very much. And now he's kind of circling the wagons looking at these ladies over there on The View.
You got to go to
because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now.
Everybody's like, can't he just buy Disney? Maybe not Disney. Maybe Disney's not the answer. Maybe you just want a broadcast network. I mean, think about it. MSNBC's entertaining for sure. You get all those cable assets, but you get weighed down a little bit with those cable assets. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. He should, if nothing else, than to see what would happen, mind you. But there may be some opportunity, if you would, with ABC. ABC does present kind of an interesting choice because I'm not sure what the valuation would be, but you would get the broadcast network, and there's some value in the broadcast network. I mean, think about it. Cable doesn't quite have as much value because guess what? All the cable companies have deals with the cable companies. So the cable news networks and entertainment networks are paid a certain amount of money by all these cable subscribers and cable companies. And because of those deals, you don't get to do things like I'm doing right here. You can't stream. You're not allowed to. And as a result of that, you may not have as much flexibility with the business. Notice that Comcast, NBC, wants to keep its broadcast unit and wants to spin off all the cable units. There's a reason for that. It wants to keep Peacock, its streaming network. It wants to keep its broadcast network because it can spin off everything else, keep it away from the main company, and keep the businesses that might have some value. I mean, if you think they have value, that's a big if, right? But you can almost feel the temperature going up over on The View these days. I think I have a soundbite from today, in fact. And it seems as though Whoopi Goldberg is now being very fearful of what exactly to say. She's kind of keeping quiet for a little bit, getting a little bit ornery on set. You know, it's like catfight after catfight. But here, watch her today.
Yeah. But when the exit polls were taken, the 92% of black women that voted for the vice president said that the number one issue for them was January 6th and the fall of democracy. Yeah. So there were some voters that felt that that was very, very important.
And if I could respond, because I do think that's a valid point. Donald Trump was never on message this election. We talked about it constantly. But he still won because he had ads that were on message, that were being blasted all over TV. So people were still hearing it. Here's how he's going to bring down the cost of living. Here's what he's going to do for you. So we're all thinking like, oh, he's talking about cats and dogs and crazy stuff. But a lot of voters who aren't tuning into the day-to-day news are seeing these targeted ads that are reaching them where they are.
Fear-mongering ads about trans people.
But then some are
a lot of scapegoating.
Majority of his were about the economy.
A lot of scapegoating. And every autocrat throughout history has found a scapegoat, and that's what he did.
Autocrat? Think about that, guys. He's now an autocrat, according to the ladies on The View. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around that. That is true.
That is true, says Whoopi. And then she catches herself. It's as though there's a producer in her ear saying, guess what? Careful, careful. Bob Iger might be listening, the CEO of Disney. And gosh darn it, Elon, goodbye, ABC.
I don't have anything to say about it. You know, I'm not going to go back and say, oh, we should have, they should have, if you should have, would have, could have. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
What I'm waiting for now is I want to see all this heat around, oh, you want to talk about the police.
It's like she got the producer note. She's like, I got to wait and see. I got to wait and see. After she just agreed with the autocrat comment saying that's for sure, right?
Who are policing. Because y'all never talked about that before. You didn't mention that. You kept saying, oh, this person marched here or this person did this. There was a lot of hazarai about a lot of stuff that really didn't have anything to do with what I was interested in. I voted for everyone else because I thought we were all wanted peace for our brothers and sisters
and a democracy
in this joint. So, you know, other people didn't vote for that. So now all I can do is wait and see what he does, and that will inform what I do. But I know Eddie.
Okay. So, you know, this is a woman who clearly is very worried. If you ask me about her job, I mean, this is why she's, you know, she goes in and then she retreats and says, okay, we got to wait and see. Same exact thing actually happened in yesterday's show where she got after one of her colleagues saying, hey, no, wait a second, you got to wait and see. It's as though somebody somewhere told her.
I think what we're all saying is we're going to sit and watch. We're going to wait and see because we can't do anything else except.
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy is told us he's a retribution.
What are you going to do?
What are you doing? Like,
there's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's pissing in the wind doesn't help. You just get a wet face.
But I mean, what I'm saying is I have no false expectations that at 78 he's going to all of a sudden turn into another human being. And I'm not going to I spent weeks telling people that he was apocalyptic. I'm not going to change now because it's still the same man.
Treating every single thing like
I think that's when we lose credibility.
Well, here's the thing. You lose credibility in many different ways. If you don't know what you're talking about and you accuse him of something, then they're going to blow it back. That's why I say we need to wait and see exactly what you're going to do.
It's almost as though, guys, she realized that they lost all their credibility. They lost their credibility by saying he was the next, frankly, Hitler. And it turned out that Americans were okay with whatever he was going to be because, well, they'd had 4 years of him and he hadn't turned out to be back then the next Hitler. So he was actually a proven commodity. And so despite them saying this ad nauseum over and over and over again, Americans voted the other way. And so now she's like, okay, well, let's see what he turns out to be. I do think that some people, some higher ups at ABC News had a little talking to with Whoopi Goldberg because, you know, this is how it should be, right? You should be reporting and reflecting on the news itself, not speculating on what he's going to do, as you did for gosh darn it, what was it, 8 years? It was nauseating. Here they are, just the day after the election. I'll tell you what they're doing right now. They're blaming the guy that may just buy them. They are blaming Elon Musk. They are blaming social media. They are blaming X. That is now their target.
Can we not let Fox News off the hook, please?
I don't understand.
And Newsmax and all the fake news that's been going out there. You know, one of the things that we need to do, and it's not to abolish the Department of Education. As a former teacher, believe me, he's talking about doing that.
Yes.
You know, I brought this up before, I'm going to bring it up again. In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country.
Yeah.
Teach children tolerance, teach them to think critically.
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is D.C. and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
It's not going to get any better with Elon Musk now in the administration.
Oh, okay. So there we go. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is somehow the problem in all this. Social media is the problem. The problem is that you're allowed to actually look up information, find information yourself, and you're not allowed to do that. No, not in this day and age. They're going to go after X all they can. They're going to go after free speech as much as they can because they want to control the speech. It's partly why I started 76 Research. As you know, 76research.com. We have a free guide right now. Look at it over the holidays. We're going into Thanksgiving. Maybe you have a little bit of downtime. It's called investinmaga.com. You can also go to 76research.com. Use code word $. I mean, we got Black Friday going on. We need a sale over there too, right? Use code word dollar. You get the subscription for just $1 a month for the first 2 months. We've got some names in this guide there at Invest in MAGA. We've got some names in the 76 report. A lot of information. There are model portfolios for all of you that are interested in really doubling down here and investing in the good stuff that is to come. But the reality, really and truly, is that we have a group of media member elites that are so angry at the idea, at the premise that somehow Elon Musk could actually have given people a choice in this election that they want to shut him down. And I'll tell you, ABC News may find themselves the victim of all of this. ABC News could very much be up for sale. We know that Bob Iger wants to sell it. We know that he is considered looking at selling it. It's considered effectively dead weight to him, and he wants to be quote unquote expansive in his thinking about how he deals with these low growth businesses, or shall we just say no growth businesses. And Elon Musk might have a little bit of a vendetta here. I mean, remember, it was Disney, after all, that shortly after Elon Musk took over Twitter, Disney led the pack by saying they were not going to advertise on Twitter. And Elon didn't really appreciate that. In fact, he did a conference with Andrew Ross Sorkin, CNBC, New York Times, where he sat down and then told the audience, Bob Iger assumingly sitting in that audience, to go F himself. You know, you remember. Right? I mean, are the chickens coming home to roost, so to speak, right now, in the here and now, if Elon were to look at buying ABC?
There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
But
go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel.
Andrew's like, okay, and like, let's go back to topic here. Let me ask you. Elon's like, look, this is how I feel. Go after yourself. Bob Iger. It was specifically directed at Disney CEO Bob Iger. Bob Iger, who has said he would very much like to sell his low growth businesses. So is this a way of sort of coming full circle? Could he go in, buy ABC? ABC News. Don't forget, ABC News was that network that had David Muir and that other woman that we can't remember, just attacking along with Kamala Harris, Donald Trump in that first debate. I mean, there were people that thought he'll never recover from that debate. The debate wasn't actually about anything. It was just a little attack fest. So luckily, he decided not to do any more debates. I mean, you couldn't actually have any substantive policy conversations. All she wanted to do, Kamala Harris, was attack. That's all she knows how to do. And David Muir and the other anchor piled on both ABC News products along with The View. So sure, I mean, he can go buy MSNBC, and you know what, he should, because it would be great, right? It would be great. He's talking about it. You saw the tweets, of course. One of the tweets was, hey, Elon Musk, I have the funniest idea ever. It came from Don Jr. And then he wrote back, how much is it? And that was very reminiscent of the tweet he sent out a few years back saying, hey, how much is it, when he was talking about buying Twitter? So everybody's speculating now, could he do it? And you know what? The short answer is yeah, he absolutely could. And you know what else I'll say? He could do both. He could actually buy all the cable assets of Comcast, try to refigure and reconfigure those assets to get them to money-making propositions. I know that the internet loves it. Check this out. This is one meme. Elon Musk carrying out the computers out of MSNBC. And then another one saying, hey, we could rename it to XNBC. And then, of course, there would be this little beauty, because he'd have the opportunity to maybe go out and fire Rachel Maddow, Mika, Joe, etc.
We could all be fired a year from now or whenever this happens. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. They were all flipping out back in the day when he bought Twitter. But think about what that meant for our election. I will say this. He puts his money where his mouth is. He has these big ideas. I mean, grand ideas. He was talking about EVs long before anybody was interested in EVs. In fact, now they'll all tell you, oh, go get an electric vehicle. And this was sort of his baby. Tesla, obviously, and yet he never gets any credit for it, right? Because, well, he's at odds with this administration. But we wouldn't have all those EVs if it weren't for Elon Musk. Regardless of what you think about EVs, you got to give him some credit where credit's due. Then we wouldn't have rockets going to the moon the way they are, or looking to colonize Mars if it weren't for Elon Musk. So Elon's got big ideas, and one of the big ideas is to actually give more power to the people because he wants people to have real free speech, a real First Amendment. Here he is talking about this issue.
Doesn't grow, then nothing else matters. You know, profits don't matter if civilization collapses. There's no profits. There's no, you know, we cannot exist absent civilization. So sometimes people may say, like, well, is this an altruistic thing? I mean, I think for me, it feels altruistic, but even if one is not altruistic, even if one is very self-centered, you have to say, if you simply think long-term, you have to be pro-civilization because you cannot exist without civilization. Okay?
How important from 0 to 10 in the scale from 0 to 10 money? You are the richest person in the world. How is important money for you from 0 to 10?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of an altruistic act in that sense, if you really think about it, spending all that money on Twitter. And Twitter being such a lively place where we can exchange ideas and information, and here being a lively place where we can exchange ideas and information. Quick shout out to one of our wonderful sponsors who makes all this happen and lets us exchange all these ideas and information. I just want to tell you all, I've been taking Balance of Nature for a while. I mean, like, we're going on a year now. I take my fruits and veggies. I get my vitamin D. Finally, my doctor's like, we've got some vitamin D levels that look attractive. So this is thanks to Balance of Nature. You can get 50% off right now with code word Trish, along with free shipping. I encourage you to do this. Balanceofnature.com is their website. You can use code Trish. Call them at 1-800-246-8751. 1-800-246-8751. Use my name. And the show gets a little bit of credit, so it's wonderful. It's wonderful for us here on the program. If you do this, it's wonderful for you. I can tell you they've been really wonderful for me, and I am healthy thanks to all that Balance in Nature. Another quick shout out to another great sponsor we have with us today, American Heart for Gold, up to $15,000. For friends of the show, just use code word Trish, 65532. Again, up to $15,000 with code word Trish, 1-844-495-1115. Obviously, everything going on in the markets right now, everything going on where there's all this perception of angst and concern. That's one reason to like gold. Another reason to like gold is, of course, because of the money printing. And the third reason I would say to like gold is because a lot of countries all over the world are trying to diversify their assets away from U.S. treasuries. You know, and gold is where they tend to go. I guess gold and sometimes a little bit, increasingly so, Bitcoin. We can talk about that another day. But again, up to $15,000 in free silver with American Heart for Gold. Just go to trishlovesgold.com. I'll tell you, they are worried right now. They are worried at ABC News. They are worried at NBC, all the cable entities. NBC News is actually going to be safe. The Today Show is safe. It's MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Joe and Mika, and oh my goodness, that woman Joy Reid, who should have been fired a long time ago. I predict she actually may be fired before Elon gets there, if Elon goes in to buy this thing. But look, I mean, it's for sale effectively. They're spinning off the company, and in that spin-off called Spinco, there will be an opportunity for somebody to come in and be a suitor here down the road. You could do what's called a hostile takeover, which is effectively what he did there with Twitter. I mean, not necessarily hostile in the end. He just kind of, I mean, I guess hostile in the sense that Twitter management and Twitter employees really didn't want it. But what was to happen when you come through with such an amazing offer, $42 billion, which was much more than the company was worth? So as he expands that empire, I'll tell you what he needs to do. He needs more and more content. Sure, we're there live every day, but you want more content, more produced content. You want to grow that, and you want everyone to have some opportunity to partake in that. He has managed to single-handedly almost turn this whole thing on its head by enabling people to go direct and get their news directly with all kinds of news and all kinds of different viewpoints there. It's why he keeps saying, look, you're the media now. You are the media now. And this is something that, you know what, those in the real quote-unquote legacy media really don't like. He's telling people, you have the power. You have the power, and they don't like that at The View. They are targeting anything that is not sanctioned by the elites right now, that's not official, legacy media. They're targeting all of it because it's a threat to, one, their livelihoods, and two, the establishment and the status quo, which is why they made such a big deal of this the other day over on MSNBC. The Axios guy, he got some big award, the founder of Axios. I mean, he started an alternative site. It's just that, they were in line. They were back in the day when it was just a website. It's the podcast that you got to really worry about. Remember, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. Here he is.
Transparency, maybe a free press, maybe the ability to do your job without worrying to go to jail, maybe the ability to sit in a war zone and tell people what's actually happening so they're not just looking at distortion, matters. It matters profoundly. It's why it's not like we just love getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning doing this every single day. Like, we do it because we love it. We do it because it matters. The work that we do matters. Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying, like, we are the media. You are the media. My message to Elon Musk is, bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter. Any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you I have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like, what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like, that's nonsense. Like, being a reporter is hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
So the arrogance here is just extraordinary, truly extraordinary. Somehow they're being so self-righteous in this. We're so perfect. We're doing it all correct. You know what? If you actually did have a shred of honesty, and I'm not picking on him in particular, but the media as a whole, if the media actually had any honesty whatsoever, then guess what? A lot of stuff that just went down over the last however many years wouldn't have gone down. I mean, the media was clearly not honest in that suddenly you were completely shunned if you dared to question why we were shutting down a country during COVID. You were taken offline if you dared to report on that Hunter Biden laptop that wasn't really supposed to be Hunter's, but it turned out it was. You weren't allowed to talk about the Wuhan virus being from Wuhan, China. No, this was like no-go territory. I mean, frankly, that was shutting down speech. And I lived it. Every single day, I breathed it. And you know what? I got all the credentials in the world with the CBS News and the NBC News and the Bloomberg and all this, that, and the other background, okay? I've lived it. I've been on that side. I'm over here right now, and I'm over here to tell you, you know what? You shouldn't be so self-righteous, and you should not be so arrogant as to think that everyday folks don't have an opinion that matters. That, in and of itself, is everything that's wrong with the legacy media. And these idiots that are about to get bought by somebody, I'm telling you, it's going to get spun off. There's tax advantages to spinning MSNBC off right now. Maybe Elon comes in a year after the fact. Or maybe he comes in right now, both for ABC and the cable assets at NBC. There's no antitrust issues there either because you're talking broadcast and cable. See, I've thought this one through. Anyway, these two idiots, Mika and Joe, are just applauding this guy, completely missing the irony of everything, that he is so damn self-centered and so arrogant. They don't understand the joke, and the joke is them.
Everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do. And I love how you connected reporters in Mississippi in the 1960s to reporters fighting for their life to get the story out in the Middle East today. Jim, it was very powerful.
Really good.
Very powerful. Even if even if we had to beep you more than we would if we ran a Dave Chappelle concert.
I
it was
liked
still
it,
good.
Jim's mild mannered.
He preached it, though. The cadence, I mean, I might get him ordained.
Well, let me...
Arrogant.
Well,
arrogant. And you know what? I'm going to show you something else. You know how arrogant they are? They think they control the news. They set the agenda. They're threatened by the idea that somehow Elon says, hey, guess what, everybody? You're the media now. You have a shot at actually having a voice at the table. That to them is somehow wrong. Listen, I'm telling you, and as somebody who passionately believes in our First Amendment and free speech, what you need, if there's so-called, I don't know, bad speech, what you need is more free speech. How did we shut down the insane narrative of legacy media? We did this through more free speech, through Twitter, through streaming, through podcasts like mine. Here's Mika and Joe a couple of years ago saying this is so scary because what if he, meaning Donald Trump, were to try and set the agenda by somehow manipulating people with his chatter? And if we're not there to prevent him from speaking, what happens then? Please.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah, if you look
that
at
is
the
our
issues,
job. She literally said that. Let's go back and play it again. He might actually be able to control what people think, and that's our job? Are you kidding me? This is everything that is the problem. You hear that? Let's listen.
Exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Okay, I gotta do it
have
again.
undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the issues.
And
they agree with
the
her.
economy worsens.
That is our job. She says, we're going to control what you think. We are the message. And they all sit around and nod and agree. And now Bill Clinton's in on the act. Yeah, former President Bill Clinton. He's in on the act to say, it's just those stupid people that believe anything that's not actually sanctioned by the likes of MSNBC and others. Here he is speaking on MSNBC.
Politics is the only business in which you can prove your authenticity by not knowing anything. And I think that's a problem. And we'll pay for it unless we get over it. But that's a problem for the Democrats, too. We have to learn to talk to people in ways that they can relate to that explains that. That's why, when I I did my best to help this time, I didn't want to go to any big rallies and big television things. I just wanted to get in the country. Just go out and talk to people. Because I think that we're behind in the sense that a lot of the small town and rural people are now highly sophisticated.
Oh my gosh, those small town rural people are now highly sophisticated. They know how to use Twitter. They know how to use a computer. They know how to get a podcast. God help us.
And how they get their information. And there are zillions of new websites now, all trying to advance their sort of conservative to right-wing radical cause. And a lot of times we're not playing on the same field. And we're not even being heard. So
yeah, this is the postmortem, right? They're all trying to figure out how the heck they lost that one. I'm just going to tell you guys, you had a lousy candidate and you had no message. And the only message you kind of kept coming back to was this DEI insanity that we're all so damn sick of. I'm sorry, I don't need it in education. I don't need it on Wall Street. And I don't need it in my life because I believe in a meritocracy. Look at how many women are there in this cabinet, by this administration. We now have a gay Treasury Secretary. Maybe you didn't even know that. I haven't even reported that because I don't even think it's relevant. The point being, let's put people that are qualified for the jobs in the jobs. Let's start educating people in the right ways about meritocracy as opposed to we're going to give you something because of the color of your skin. It's really disgusting. I'll tell you about a university that's not that way. Grand Canyon University, one of the new sponsors on our show. We love them for that. A private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. That's true. To life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. GCU believes in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. Yes, thank you, it does. GCU equips you to serve others in ways that promote human flourishing and create a ripple effect of transformation for years to come by honoring your career calling, your impact on family, your friends, and your community. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself to glorify God. What a great message, right? Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With 350 academic programs as of June 2024, congratulations, GCU meets you where you are and provides you a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University, private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Isn't that just great to see? You know, CNN is another one that suddenly has a case of EDS. I'm calling it EDS. You remember TDS? Well, this is EDS. This is because of Elon. Trump derangement syndrome has now become Elon derangement syndrome because they got to blame someone for Trump winning, and apparently it's all Elon, and that darn free speech is fault. Here they are talking about, well, this is a quick one. Elon doesn't want to be regulated. Why should he be?
Platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated.
No. And you know what? He's taking it even further. He's saying, I don't have to regulate anybody else. You know what? They're the media now. You need to report what you know. Tell us what you hear. Tell us what you see. And they sure feel intimidated by it. Certainly over at MSNBC, where he might actually buy them. Certainly over at ABC, where he may buy them. And certainly over at CNN, where I don't think he's thought about that one yet. Here they are.
Platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable. I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory structure over public airwaves that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook and
there's
Twitter.
Still, what she's saying is that there's still a litmus test of journalism that you have to pass. You can't come on TV and just make up things and say things. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It happens often on X. I can go and say the color is blue and I will be met with so many disrespectful remarks. No one's regulating the N-word. No one's regulating the criticism. No one is regulating how people are treated.
How much government regulation of the First Amendment are you for?
Let me tell you something. If I came on here and I just started calling you all kind of names, do you think the bosses would let me continue to do that?
I mean, it happens to me occasionally. I don't know if you watch
it doesn't happen to you, but it doesn't happen for me. And I know that I wouldn't be able to do that. There's a level of professionalism in what we do here because we are journalists and we adhere to something, at least morally. And there is no moral compass on this thing called.
Really? Because you know what? I had to listen to a whole lot of stuff that was pretty damn heinous, if you ask me. In fact, one of the key proponents of this heinous talk, and by the way, we had to listen to him swear at 6:15 in the morning, is one little guy named Joe Scarborough, who suddenly is trying to pretend like he's conservative lately. This one gets me. But anyway, just a few weeks before the election, he's out there spouting this stuff.
So I'm not trying to figure them out. I'm trying to figure out how we get people out who love democracy, who love freedom, who love the rights of all Americans, how to get them to the voting booth. Because that's how we save our country.
Ooh, we missed the best part. We got to go earlier on.
Okay, now, where can we meet in the middle? On this question, we're past that. You can't meet. If they voted for Trump in 16, whatever. They voted for Trump in 20, they knew exactly what they were doing. if they vote for Donald Trump in 2024, and I've said it on my show, I'll say it here, they're knowingly voting for a fascist. They're voting for a racist. They're voting for somebody that wants to put this country 200 years in the back.
Okay.
And so
this is the kind of stuff that goes on cable, but apparently they're all upset about whatever goes on Twitter. I mean, what I'm shocked about is what's going on over at ABC News and at The View, because there are FCC rules when it comes to broadcast, which would pertain to The View, and ABC News produces The View. Whoopi Goldberg, watch out. I'm telling you, you're done. Joy Behar, you're done. Like, it's all over, because if you look at those FCC rules, and now we actually have somebody in charge who's going to probably enforce them, one Brandon Carr, you have to give equal time. And I don't think equal time means we're going to give 99.99999% bad coverage to one and 99.99999% good coverage to the other. I think equal time also means some kind of respect for fairness. They don't believe in fairness. They are up on their high horses thinking cable is the be-all, end-all, and somehow they're just, utterly perfection and peaceful and this and that, and they're not. But hear them on CNN.
Harry, I want to ask you about this idea of media takeover, because after Elon Musk purchased Twitter, changed it into X, there's no doubt that he exercised some power there. So how do you hear this even in jest kind of purchase of a cable network?
Good to be with you tonight.
Good to be with you as well.
Thanks for having me. I think that we should believe everything that is said coming from this administration. I don't think that we have the luxury to dismiss it as him being someone who's being funny or someone who is just being himself, or that is his brand. X, and you said in some ways, always. I feel like X, I don't know if anyone is on it in any capacity. I don't know if you're on it. And you're the only one? You're on it? You all are on it? Okay. I've actually decided to take a rest of peace, because it is not a peaceful place for me. And I know if, in fact, you don't agree with this current administration, most people can say that it's not a peaceful place. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual bid made to take on MSNBC, but the fact that it just can't happen in real life.
And we just can't.
It's
It's
not
not
even
for sale.
Yeah, it's not.
Really, it just can't happen. It just can't happen. What do you think you're going to do about it? I mean, the guy's a billionaire. He's the wealthiest man in the world, something like, what, 350 billion? I mean, he's just insane amounts of money. And if he wants to buy it, guess what? He can. And I don't think you can do too much about it.
The last time he mused about maybe buying something,
it's not even realistic in real life. But I do believe that media, everyone sitting here at this table, if you don't agree, we're in for some tough years ahead. I do believe that we are not going to be able to be as safe or say what we want to. I don't think free speech is going to be as free.
Okay, I'm just going to say, guys, I've had to live through the last however many years. I mean, I'm proof that free speech didn't really exist, right? I mean, think about, Trish Regan said that, we're overreacting on COVID. I paid a price for that. I mean, I happily will always pay the price, because I will always defend my view. I will always be honest with my view, and I will always give it to you straight. And so, fortunately, the medium is changing so quickly, and it's so vibrant, and there's this huge opportunity for somebody like me over here where there may not have been previously. And that's the good news, right? That's the good news. But for them to suggest that somehow now we're going into the thick of it, no. I've been in the thick of it, and I came out the other side. I've been in the thick of it. I remember shortly after Joe Biden came to the White House, I had shared a story on a social media company, one Facebook, about that laptop, the laptop from hell. Remember that? And I was shut down. I was shut down for an entire year. I was not able to reach my audience. I'm still barely able to reach my audience over there. We thank YouTube. We thank Twitter. We are happy that there are some places where they're not willing to just completely strangle you. But it's been a rough go. And this lady has no clue. All these people are sitting around wondering how the heck they're ever going to become relevant again. Because guess what? The world has changed. And it's still changing, and it's changing fast, and it's great and glorious.
You grew up in a newsroom like Gene grew up in a newsroom. I mean, that's a lot of challenge. That's a challenge for a lot of mainstream media sources is, do they make themselves relevant again to hear 20% of adults who actually get influencers on social media?
I don't know
maybe somebody who makes baskets, and while they're making baskets, they look up and say, vote for candidate X.
Again, the arrogance.
I don't know how we catch up to that.
Yeah, so Gene Robinson, do you agree with
Because you can't catch up to it, because you guys are still stuck. Nobody likes you, okay? The arrogance that you have, your little club watches you maybe on a Morning Joe, your little DC insiders. Nobody else does. They're all watching Rogan, or maybe I'm lucky enough to have you over here. Nobody watches these shows anymore. You just look at the ratings. What are they down? Some 51%. I mean, maybe Elon could change it. Maybe he could help them at MSNBC by having a more diversified news product. Maybe he could help them at ABC, again, through a diversification in their products so they're not all spouting the same nonsense over there at The View. But given what we've been through, given the lawfare we have been through just for the last 4 years, I mean, a couple and everything that happened before that, I think the reality is that people are tired of the mainstream media. They don't want it anymore, and rightly so. I don't want it anymore. People say to me all the time, would you be willing to go back? And the short answer is no, because I could never be hindered by this sort of apparatus from the top down telling me what to do. It's not right. Lots of changes are coming. They need to come. Hey, a quick shout out to our friends over at Heritage. You know, everybody's like, what's the next step, right? What can we do? And I love this book. It just came out. Dr. Roberts, he's actually going to be on the show, I think, next week. And he's president of the Heritage Foundation. And I just wanted to give him a quick shout out because I'm reading the book, and it's all about taking back control over Washington, right? To save America. And it's not even like taking back a control of Washington in a big way. It's in a small government way, because we want less control. But what they have done over the last however many years, and we're talking generations of this, has just been awful. So you can get this right now on Amazon. I encourage you to go check it out. It's called Dawn's Early Light, Taking Back Washington. Look, the American people said it, right? Did they not? November 5th, they said, we want our country back, and we want less control from big government, and they are getting it. So this is well timed. It's got a forward, by the way, by J.D. Vance, and it's called Dawn's Early Light, which I just think is a beautiful title, given this time and given all that we're challenged with and going through. It's really a blueprint for we the people, if you would. It's about draining the swamp. It's taking our country back, and you know what? Keeping our country. How do we keep our country and prevent it from going through these things again? It's one of the reasons why I keep saying, you know, it's not retribution that anybody should be looking for, but Pam Bondi, when she starts looking to see what exactly went down, she's going to figure out how we make sure that this kind of thing does not happen again. It's not retribution per se. It's actually just justice to ensure that the American people have the say, not one group or another group, because this was all about one group having the most say, and that inherently is fundamentally flawed. It's fundamentally wrong, right? Another quick shout out. Gosh, it's good that we have sponsors, right? I want to just, again, our friends over at American Heart for Gold, go to trishlovesgold.com for up to $15,000 in free silver. It's worth thinking about as we go into this Thanksgiving week. Of course, I'll still be here. I'll be here tomorrow with you. I will be here Friday with you. I don't think I'll be here Thursday with you. I'll be at my sister's and I'll be eating a little bit of turkey, but I hope you have some good plans as well. Call 1-844-495-1115 to learn more. Text Trish to 65532 to learn more today, because this is really and truly a unique time, a great opportunity in America right now. Speaking of great opportunities, make sure you also go to Invest in MAGA, a free guide that I have created alongside my colleague at 76 Research, Rob Horton, for you to learn a little bit more about investing in a time like this. I'll tell you, the media is freaking out. The media is setting us up for a kind of civil war, if you would. I'm going to discuss this a little bit more tomorrow with you, because when you think of the likes of, Letitia James, who's promising that, she's not going to back down, not one iota.
I will not fear Donald Trump. I have steel in my backbone. And the reality is I will not allow this person, Donald Trump, who unfortunately is a broken man, to get in the way of progress and to separate.
Yeah, when you think of somebody like that, and how she's setting us up, in my estimation, for a super challenging time. I consider what's going on with the mayor of Denver, Tom Homan, coming out fiercely against the mayor there of Denver. We got a lot going on, and we're going to continue covering it. I'll see you right back here on the show tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Until then,